Say to Black American people, this is the most harmful-ish you can tell to America. That's the most racist place. I live in Buffalo, New York, the most racist city that I've experienced because I lived here. And another Black man would tell me in Buffalo, I've been the man for all these years. I only experienced racism 2 times, which I experienced more than that. But I grew up in this place, right? And so, since I've done good for myself, there's no other reason, basically, to say I'm not oppressed. Not oppressed, but to say that racism don't have the same impact as it did from when the times of my grandmother and mother experienced. And people have experienced that. So the man not bothering nobody, police walking up to him, guns drawn with 5 men for sitting in his car. There is no line, and it's happening over and over and over to different Black men minding their business. I talk about men with no records, no warrants, just minding their business, doing nothing, is getting shot and killed by police. And young Black boys are being murdered on a regular basis in South Carolina by police and white men. And white men get away with murdering Black men, but only time we want to talk about it, about Black Lives Matter, Black men. I was like, no, it's called Stop the Violence. But this is the most detrimental-ish to say this, to be proud of what? That you walked around and ignored something that happened to you. Great, I do that too. But to say, this is the hurt part. Because then when you start reading people's comments, you can click on their profile, everybody, oh, I'm not a victim. I am proud. I'm going to not raise myself, but you're going to raise your child. But you know what they do in their homes? They raise their children to be racist. That's the whole difference. They raise them children to be against them. And they still, why are we acting as being successful in having babies with another race is a mean to talk about how the effect of it is not the same, or whatever your mentality is not the same, the effect isn't the same. And a white person, and I keep reading about this. This is funny. I would love to have this talk with the white people. I want to know, white people, what power have you never had in America? Because I want to know this. You experience racism, or you experience something that, just say she came across me that have been through racism his whole life. He's been around racists. He experienced racism his whole life. Then she met him one day and then gave him the funky attitude, but he's aware of the reason. She don't have a racist mind per se, according to white people. They are not racist. They are not all racist or inherently racist, even though they nurture, foster, breed it, and groom it in their homes. They're not inherently racist, but okay. And their father and grandfather keep taking, so that's inherent. I don't know what, and like I inherit my mother wealth or her debt or her love or whatever she's going to give to me. I inherit once she passed on. So yes, you are inherently racist. And so she experienced racism. How did you experience? And then we tell them, oh, count yourself lucky. I would never tell a white person. But he focused that count yourself lucky. No, they don't never experience racism. I can't think of a time in America or in any nation except probably Africa, and they don't do that to their people, where white people was under all Black power and taking things away from them, and then killed their families and pillaged their homes to create this racism, because something had to be created from it. I don't know how she experienced racism. So Trish Bursell, there's no way you experienced racism. There's no way that you were under a non-white power. I don't know what area you lived in, because there's never not been a non-white power in America. Even so, when I talk about America, the White House, people are like, oh, it's just a name. No, it's not. It's called the White House, the capital. You know what capital means? Authority and head. The capital of America, authority and head, is called the White House. People say, oh, because it's, no. If you read that and then you look at America, why would you call that something? No, don't play with my mind. Don't play with my feelings. Don't play with my intelligence. And that can't, so he come in response, that can't stop my money. So you being against, and that's all you can do is address it and pray and never run into one and never say nothing. because you are focused on the money. Capitalism is the reason why you don't focus on racism. That's basically what you're saying, that you're able to at least still capitalize. But if you couldn't capitalize, what would you say? But that's not the point. I capitalize too. That's not the point of why racism exists. That's the problem. How often do you experience? Now you're asking them, but if you saying you only went through something and that won't stop you, I don't see yours true concern. And he went to where do you work and live? Dude, I live in a fucking America. I live in Buffalo, New York. How does that even matter? I experience racism more than people can say, and I can point it out. I'm not stupid, and I have experience, and I say racism is physical. People have thrown stuff. I remember the man go, like, this was just recent. Hey, you nigger. He didn't realize he had to stop at the light, and I was walking down the street. So I knocked on the window. And the lady was like, it was a black lady, and another lady on the side, like, what's wrong? I say he called me a nigger. The black lady was like, ooh. The white lady was like, huh. I said, I'm not going to do nothing. Because I'm letting the white lady know, I'm not going to do nothing. I just want to know, I just want to hear him call it to me again if I can record it. I wanted to actually show people. And he kept his window down. I said, but you know you can hear through the window. I said, sir, you were so brave to call me a nigger when you was passing by. Now you stop, and I'm confronting you. You have no words. So for telling me, just because I'm doing good, and I'm not talking about oppressed, I'm talking about the reality of how people think about me, and I'm around these people. We keep forgetting, we keep talking about, oh, my kid's going to be raised great. Your children is eventually going to be around other children that's going to become adults. And we forget, how can we ignore that aspect? No way we can ignore that my child is going to be an adult one day. How are we ignoring that? So, and if you come out and say, and just read this, while you're pleasant, positive, polite, and you're rude or respond at you over simple question that you haven't experienced yourself personally, but I heard it and seen it. And attitude, arrogance, the way you talk and treat others, also everything about you, who you as a person. As many people think things happen to them is because of the race rate. 90% of the time is not. It's how you come off to others. So I love that. I'm happy I gave that little quick story. I was minding my business, walking down the street. But it's how you come off. Taurus is always give out to the world, others is going to give and reciprocate back unto you. Racism don't work that way. Never have I heard a story of a person said, you know what? I was around white people and I just started messing with them and they started calling me the word nigger. I never heard that. I heard I was minding my business as I was and they started calling me the word nigger and started throwing stuff or saying things to you. So 99% of the time is not how you come off, it's what you give to the world. So to the world, I have done nothing to answer this Melanie lady. I have done nothing to those white people. I have yet to kill a white person, to rape a white woman, to beat up little white kids, to shoot a little white kid, to tell white people I hate them, to do all of these things to white people for me to receive that to the white. So I guess, according to you, Melody, I deserve what I'm going through and reciprocate back into you the aspects of life. It's really that simple, but y'all still don't get it. When you fully understand this way, when you grow up, mature, when people care and actually take you seriously, you would change your mind, mentality, and work better on yourself. I can't work on some white person that already hate me. Nobody says, and this is the thing, I have to work on me from stop allowing somebody from calling me a nigger, but in the first place, I can't stop them from calling me a nigger. It's the laws, humanity, but it's universal because God is good. God is good, but he said nigger and nothing happened to him. He's making $600 million a year. The guy that's calling me, that made a comic strip, Dilbert, calling me nigger, but he was making, I know he made great money from Dilbert. And I never thought Dilbert to be negative. And I had to, so secretly, I'm doing nothing. Secretly, he's hating me. I'm not at home thinking about, man, I'm gonna hate a white person today, or I hate white people. No, them people are truly doing that. But according to her, I have not matured enough mentally. I haven't worked on myself So when I'm called nigger and racism present itself, it's my fault because I have power and control over that word nigger and that person. Instead of saying, wow, why in America will somebody still use the word nigger? There is no reason. But according to this man, Bobby Lyons, so me working hard and doing the things I'm supposed to do, and so here's the rebut of everything. Can't touch my money. So now we're gonna hear their stories. So I'm guessing these stories mean racism because of what they experience. I worked in a place 6 hours white. I'm not exaggerating. My LPO literally told me that it was because she hates white people and doesn't trust them. And where does that come from? And this is the talk that Andrew has to understand. It's because she hates white people and doesn't trust them. So when he heard that, he thought about her being racist and never thought about, damn, why does this black woman don't trust white people and hate them? I'm not saying she's justified, but this lady, his LPO, did not wake up. Her family did not teach her this. She has experienced something. And this is the part I want the black people that says this. You have lost the real reality of what people experience to make them be that way. That white people, their father and grandfathers was that way. That's why they're that way. So they're going out with no experience. You're talking about me. Let's say I was that black woman because I would have means. I can tell you countless stories. And the highest time I've been called nigger was in 2020 when COVID hit. The first time where nigger became a word to me is in 2016 when I moved where I lived at. That year, out here, a lady called me that 9 times. And I've talked to her. I told her there's no coming back. She tried to apologize. There's no coming back from that. I said because there was no recourse to them calling me a nigger. Even if I did something to them, there's still no recourse because they still get to go home. They don't have to think about how negative that was. So when this happened to white people, they finally get to experience something and say it's racism. At the same time, she let the rank of the people happen to be black sit around and do nothing. And she let them off work because 68 hours in, and I took the problem to ball. She also nobody cared. But this is how white people have done us for thousands. I'm not saying she's justified, but this is racism. See how he noticed this? But when black people bring up what their experience is, nobody cares. That's why that man I'm saying this is a problem when he says that. Because his literal story is what black people go through and I have experience on a regular basis. You're being treated different because you're black, because you're around white people. They don't want to say that. He experienced, and you see their story is always just one black person or 2 instances. I'm literally meeting random white people, even from elementary school. You know, when you don't notice it, you start learning about it. And I met a black person. He's finally experienced racism. I said, no, this is your journey. Because he was a Christian, and black Christians, I hate when it comes to race relations and race issues. You have no talk, but you're quick. You don't talk about when the white people are rioting after a Stanley Cup game. But you talking about black people being treated unfairly, are rioting, and you calling that bad. And you love to use the word. But when white people do stuff, you have a religion, there's not even a black statue. There's not even a black statue. But you don't have a problem with that, though. And there are black people in the Bible. And throughout history, timelines, there's black people, no matter what position they had or know what they were doing. So he's saying, I'm not going to let those experiences define me. That's only one. I don't assume that every black person has way. I've had many black friends in my life. In fact, that I'm closest friends are black. I met and left the Navy in my experience. And so before my first deployment, and he's saying I got surrounded by 20 black guys because I was the first person in the theater room a particular day in the TV in Nebraska football game. These guys literally killed me because I'm white. I really hated me because I'm from Nebraska. Only reason I made out because a friend of mine was also black, but he was Mississippi, happened to be walking by and saw what was going on. So this is the thing I want to talk about. If white people or black people that don't usually listen to things as this, somebody stopped something from happening. He wouldn't have died. Trust me, that white man would have just got beat up just as regular times. They nobody killing no white man. And I want white men. Black men are not killing you. Sorry, they'd jump you. That's why it was 20 of them. And you're threatened and nothing happened anyway. Because on site, when I got attacked and white men tried to jump me, I find the irony. I don't know. When somebody trying to hurt me, and it's, let's say like a woman, I'm not using a woman as an example. Women hits don't hurt. But some reason, I don't know why these white guys was hitting me. It didn't hurt. I didn't even get a mark on me. I don't know. Maybe I did. But I beat them all up. But I had to defend. That's what I'm saying. I have so many stories. You would say, wow, why don't you act as his supervisor, the LPO of the company he worked for? Because I don't have that in me. Because I'm not preaching and teaching myself hatred. I'm experiencing it. And that's the crazy part I would want everybody to understand. It's the experience. But he's saying, I'm not going to do that. But it'd be hard for me, Mr. Andrew, to say white people are not inherently racist. Your experience of these guys, I guarantee you, you said what separated is an experience. Imagine being black. I can't change my black. You can be white and change your area. Get away from those black guys. Just as you have a black friend, you have another opposite of a race that holds you kind enough to protect you, dear enough to protect you, sincerely enough to protect you on all fronts. And you have white people that won't say nothing. They would watch. And then your responses when the black man getting killed or a black child getting killed, it's not even a response of sympathy or empathy and say that was wrong. Why are they killing a child? That's a child. And I'm 6'5". There's no possible way I would have looked at a 11-year of age little white boy as threatening. And you walk up to him and just shoot him because you think he had a gun. You thought he was pulling for a gun and you shoot him in the side 3 times. You thought he did something wrong and you shoot up his car. Because he had some warrant out for his arrest. He had something he's done that has, so let's say he stole something and became a thief. Now you're looking at him as dangerous man. He didn't steal and hurt people. He just stole it like he was walking. He took it and ran. But you're looking at him as dangerous to kill. But when you have the mindset to kill, and this is what nobody understand. And so my mom was spit on by a white guy off the bus. My mother and my father may have never talked, but my mother went through desegregation of school. So a little black girl was walking to school and adult white men were throwing rocks. Those adult white men have children my age. I want you to think about that. Those adult white men, their children that have been racist towards other race people, especially black people, there's no recourse of them being racist. For me, I can get put down by my own black people, even though they can see it and see a video and how I feel and keep telling me not to feel the way, not to say, I'm going to tell my son, if going in the hood, you worry about the hood. And when you're around all white people, and yes, I'm sorry. I even tell the white people I'm around, it is hard because I trust you. If you go around my family won't do nothing. I will say the creator would take my life. I'm 100,000, whatever, 10 times sold. My family would never harm you for the reason of just looking at your skin. But I know I know a lot of white people can't say they know 1,100% sure they're full. I'm talking about my full. You take my family, you just drop you in there. They won't harm you. Why is the crazy part? And we have stories of black people going to white areas and getting killed because they're around a lot of white people and their families. Come on now. How you end up missing? How do that black man and woman or child end up dead around a whole bunch? See, no, that's the difference. There is still a difference in our interaction through our experience. He experienced that, but he won't experience nothing else. Think about that. He experienced what they experienced through their family and through their experience with white people, and they was mad. It's like, what you want here? No, nobody, but let's talk about this. As we go into white areas, we understand the dangers. He went into, and I get, like as he said, if he's around 20 black guys, I guarantee you he's in the black area. And when you in certain areas, I learned this, and we don't talk about this enough too. Asian people don't talk to you. They don't say hi to you. They walk. A lot of white people you walk by don't even say hi. If I say what up to a black person, they say what's up, or they nod. They pound you up. I don't know the black. This is a regular occurrence, even from the hood, from the lowest, what we want to call low, but they not low, from the poorest black person to the richest. I have had no problem with interaction. I know I don't expect black people to, I'm aware of stuff too. I know why he's not speaking to me. But once I speak, there is no more of that. The white person just look at you. It's like when they do, it's like a force. I've done it. I can show. Oh man, if I had a camera just to show you, and because people still act as in 2023 to keep saying this is not the 1950s. I'm not oppressed. It's not about oppression. It's about the experience that we keep going through because we are black. And yes, that's the thing. But we're going to keep denying that for some reason. And I don't know why. Why are we keep denying that to exist? And then even Martin Luther King said, it took laws. People don't understand that. Civil rights, Department of Labor. Those are just a few laws that black people fought for in America for us to go sit inside of a building to remove a sign to say for colors. Colors go through the back or you're not allowed. White only. We realized if that's my mother, that was literally not even 60 years from when I was born, from 82. She was born 50, 60, 70. So that's like a 20-year time span. That's 2 decades from when I was born and up to now. 70, 80 years from 1942, Loving versus Virginia, when black women. And we got to look at everything. If we ignore it, it's not going to change. You think just because it's going to be all these mixed kids that racism don't change. Because it's still going to be white people, still going to be full Asian people. Black people still going to go through experience with these things in the future. But money is not an equalizer. Money don't change my experience. And somebody who's making up stories. I want to see. I didn't see nobody making up. I guess that he deleted his comment. So that when we have this, and white people, which is good, you have these stories as well of the black person that experienced racism their whole life, and they say they hate white people and they don't trust them. You never ask them what happened to them. You never ask them. But soon, I got to the point, the understanding can be there. But you're never going to make me lose my sympathy and empathy. I'm just not going to be as entailed to put my energy and thought unless you are one of those white people that's willing to understand. And we can say, I'm not blaming no one, but I'm going to give it to the experience. If I became one of them black people that physically harm white people or do these things, is because they done it to me. I say that sometimes because even when we talk about abuse, rape, and all of these other things and murder, I tell the one guy, he keeps saying, how am I the problem? Because you're the common denominator of all your things. That part, not blaming him. Only time I put the ownership on him if it's something that is being used. That means being used. That means over and over, right? Going back into an area. So when I'm avoiding areas and go to a new area, because literally that's how I lived, and I experience the same thing again. I experience the same thing now, not just my area. I'm going to a whole new place, and I experience that over and over again. I'm experiencing that over and over again. Your experience from my experience is repetitive by the people that you want me to not hate and don't think and want to trust. And if you can hear this, black people don't trust white people because every time we did, all you got to do is type in on Google, when black people trust white people, what are the negative outcomes? I'm a CNA. And the story that these white people tell me about, because I don't know, white people, when they guilty, or even anybody when they're guilty, but as a CNA, they older and they can talk, white people tell you stuff. But I learned from white people about stuff, about a whole bunch of different things. I should have wrote them down. I wish I wrote them down. Good information that helped me in this capitalistic White House. It would have helped me more. Because I don't have to adapt and change who I am. All I had to do is not even get on their program, because I'm not a program follower or a system follower. It'll help me maneuver better, and it did, and it does. When the information come back to me, it'll help me maneuver better. But I don't have to change who I am. I don't have to act as a white man to be in a white company. I don't have to fake who I am to be. I don't have to act. I'm not anywhere I'm go, I would never be a token black guy, even if I'm the only black guy. I don't change my voice. I don't change my dress. I don't change how I wear my clothes. That's what I meant by dress, how I dress up, dress down, casual, formal. I wear what is per that, and I will wear the outfit I did want. You won't say nothing. I wear a short. I remember a white guy walked up to me saying, that's not a formal shirt. I said, sir, I have on shoes, I have on slacks, and I have on a formal shirt. I said, it's formal, right? She said, yes. I said, what is it about what I'm wearing? It's not formal. And he went to try to explain, but I said, sir, the same way if I say all white people is evil, you would call that ignorance. But that's the experience that you're giving me right now. And you're not the first white person. Everybody looked at me, and I know what you were thinking. You were just the ignorant one to walk up to me. I said, but your experience, if I did that to you, it's just one black man saying that. Because you would say, I have black friends and other black, see where I'm going? Other black people that wouldn't have thought that. You're just the one, singular one. But you're not the only one. The other white people are thinking this. And he's walking up to me. You're ignorant, showing that it's not a formal shirt. Oh, it just don't look as you were told. I said, that is a condition of racism. You were taught I have to look a certain, I said, and then these people don't understand. You see how it was nurtured, fostered, and breeded in them that something don't look as them is not what it says it is. And that's how they look at black people. I don't care. You want to say trust white people as a whole. If something happened right now and I need to protect my family and it was a gender war, I'm going to end it off with this, a gender war. And then it became a race war. And I needed those white people to stand up for me. Name a time in history where white people stood up for black people as black people stood up for black people and they fought and warred against their race. Name a time in history. And then I'll show you why We don't trust white people. But I say unto one, I say unto all, your path, your journey is your choice. Choose wisely. Shalom.